I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars franchise seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also let's not forget about their new live-action Star Wars TV series to arrive on Disney+, and of course the fourth Star Wars trilogy of films, also known as the new Star Wars trilogy by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the great thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that they are very ambitious about the future of this franchise. They have over 10 years worth of Star Wars projects in the works on Disney Plus alone. Let that sink in for a moment. Over 10 Star Wars projects in the works just for Disney Plus. That's completely separate from the movies and other projects that they are developing, like video games and more. So, everything that's actually getting poured into this new universe can all be thanked toward Bob Chapek, really creating his own legacy for Star Wars, creating his own image for the Star Wars fandom. And that's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to actually reunite the Star Wars fans around the world. Now, one would argue that there's no hope for Star Wars really gaining back its success or bringing it back to the way it used to be. However, I am very optimistic that we can really head in that direction, and I really do believe that the Clone Wars Season 7 and The Mandalorian Season 1 and with Season 2 coming up, it's just enough momentum for us to at least have a little bit of hope that Star Wars can very well go in a better direction without Kathleen Kennedy and her input on creative aspects of these projects. So, with that being said, of course, what's really exciting all has to do with Bob Chapek and George Lucas, and this also concerns Kathleen Kennedy. Now that the Skywalker saga is over, both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek have been hard at work on developing a better future for the Star Wars franchise. Now, it's explained that Bob Iger and Chapek are actively hiring new creators to come on board for the new Star Wars universe in order to evolve the Star Wars universe and more. However, behind the scenes, it's described that Bob Chapek has a plan in place in order to make sure that all the stories moving forward will be as authentic as possible. Just recently, it's noted that Chapek has a plan for George Lucas to temporarily replace Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy for the beginning of 2021, before the official new Lucasfilm CEO, or president, I should say, steps in to take full control of Star Wars. This is said to have to do with complications with Kennedy's contract and her plans to leave Lucasfilm at a specific point in time. Now, in case you guys have been out of the loop, Kathleen Kennedy plans to leave later this year. That will go into full effect in 2021. George Lucas is described to take over Kathleen Kennedy temporarily so far in January of 2021 for a limited time to handle the business end of Star Wars, to organize the roadmap and the official marketing of the new Star Wars universe more before Chapek comes to a final decision on who will officially replace Kathleen Kennedy. Favreau is said to be on top of the list, and that Chapek has actually begged George Lucas to replace Kathleen Kennedy permanently, but Lucas is unsure of taking that offer and is said to be going for a trial run in the beginning of 2021. This is somewhat similar to how Disney CEO Bob Iger returned as CEO temporarily to handle Disney after resigning. So here's the thing about this entire situation. You guys may very well know that Bob Iger left as the Disney CEO. I believe it was earlier this year. It really came out of left field. Nobody was expecting this. It was so random to the point where there was no heads up about it. It was just a big headliner one day. Bob Iger has stepped down. He has resigned as the Disney CEO. Poof, vanish, he's gone. And then it was Bob Chapek who stepped in. Now, Bob Chapek so far has been doing an excellent job in my book, but Bob Iger is now back temporarily until 2021, mind you. For roughly 1 year, he's pretty much only coming back, in order to really bring Disney back on its feet. It's most likely due to the global crisis that's happening around the world. He's helping with the theme parks, the movies, the franchises that they own, and more. And they're doing a similar treatment with George Lucas, taking over Lucasfilm temporarily before the official new Lucasfilm president steps in to replace Kathleen Kennedy permanently. Now, once again, I do know that George is getting up there in age. I'm not saying that he's, a very, very old man, but he is getting up there in age. And I'm not quite sure how long he would even be able to run Lucasfilm if he did take that role permanently. How long would he really be able to do that? It is a lot of stress, it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of responsibility, mind you. But at the end of the day, you know, Star Wars is George's creation. It really is his legacy. And I'm sure that without a doubt, he has this idea to actually lend himself to Star Wars fans, and that's exactly why he's helping with Jon Favreau and Bob Chapek and Dave Filoni and other creators as well, to really bring Star Wars back on its feet once again, to really kind of just give us a better version of Star Wars. Ever since the sequel trilogy movies really didn't do all that well, or really didn't agree with the Star Wars fans too well, as we would have actually thought of. So, like I've said, Kathleen Kennedy being out of the picture, it really does spell a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm very happy about this, and if you guys actually enjoyed the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.